There. We're showing you that because, of course, we're going to see Bo Nix and the Broncos taking on the Raiders tonight in Colorado. There's Bo Nix looking dapper, arriving there at the stadium. Of course, we'll pick this game a little bit later on tonight, but Week 10 begins in Denver. The AFC West leading Broncos taking on the Raiders, and Denver is control of the AFC West. That's normally Chiefs territory. With a win tonight, the Broncos would have twice as good a chance to win the division as Kansas City. But look what happens if they lose. Chiefs now the favorite, but barely a three-way fight could be in the cards. That's interesting. And J-Mac, do you believe in this Bo Nix-led Broncos offense?
Oh, that's such a tough question because there are moments where you watch Bo Nix and he has a fourth quarter comeback or a game-winning drive where he throws a beautiful pass down the field to Cortland Sutton and you're like, yeah, like that's the guy. And you can see the ascension. But there's some plays where you watch him and he throws the ball up and it's almost like up for grabs for anybody who's down there. And Dan, I want to ask you because you know more about the quarterback position than a lot of us that are on TV talking about it. Some of these plays where he's throwing it up and he's trying to make a play down the field, do you look at those as, you know what, I like the fact that he's giving his guy a chance down the field or he trusts his defense to be able to get the ball back to him? Or some of these like, hey, just because we have a shot dialed up, like you don't have to take it. Use your legs, check the ball now. But to me, through one interception this game to Bullock, but those are other plays right there that the ball is right in DB's hands to be able to make a play. And I know Houston's defense is one of the best in the league.
Yeah, so I think the Houston thing, we kind of talked about it this week, it was obvious that Denver just wanted to continue to take shots. Yes. You're not going to drive the length of the field on a consistent basis versus that defense. So continue to take shots and be aggressive. Houston's an extremely ball-hawking secondary. To answer your question more directly, though, like, I'm always for quarterbacks being aggressive. I do not think you can be great in this league being cautious. I don't like when people say protect the football, protect your kids. I can never be great at that position if you protect the ball. There's a difference between aggression and reckless. I would say the Jordan Love interception last week, that was reckless. No need for you to you can't justify why you threw that football. Some of those clips you showed with Bo, while they almost end up picks, I could sit there and watch tape with Bo and be like, hey, it's one-on-one. I took a shot. Well, I need you to make a better throw. I was on the move and I felt coverage. I need you to make a better throw. So as long as, like, you can explain to me why you are making some of those throws, I'm okay with that. Also, we have an elite defense. And I don't want you to hang them out, but I would much rather you be aggressive with the football than cautious with the football when we have an elite defense.
I think what I'm looking for tonight from Denver is to play a complete game. We're considering them in that conversation with the Buffalo Bills and with the Indianapolis Colts. And, of course, the Chiefs are always going to be lingering in that division with the Chargers. If you just look at the final scores in the standings, you're like, Denver's having an amazing season. They are. They looked atrocious at times over the first three quarters of the Giants game and over the first three quarters of the Texans game. The numbers are harrowing. In a weird way, it's good that they're 4-0 and entering the fourth quarter with being down this season. And the other end, why are we down all the time going into the fourth quarter? On one side, it's great to outscore opponents 86-20 in the fourth quarter of the last 6 games. That's an awesome stat. Why are we only up a few points total then in that span? To me, and I don't mean to people to turn off their televisions tonight, you're home, you're against an atrocious Raiders defense right now who can't even hold anyone under 30 points. If you can't put together 4 quarters against the Raiders, I almost think you have more concerns about Denver than good feelings if they pull another one out at the end.
Yeah, that's a good point based on the opponent, right? Dan, let's not just completely dismiss the Raiders, though, okay? If there's one thing that this Broncos defense needs to watch out for, what is it?
Brock Bowers. I'm not
He's on one of my fantasy teams.
I'm not being hyperbolic. I say 15-plus targets tonight. At a minimum. No doubt. I would sniff 20. One, this is the worst defense in football, yards per reception against tight ends. Denver says, even though it's an elite defense, they're the second worst defense in football when it comes to yards after the catch. I would, if I were the Raiders, use Brock Bowers the same way that the Colts used Tyler Warren earlier in the season. How many different ways can I throw you the football? And this is a little bit of where the Raiders are outside of, not having Jacoby Myers anymore. It's like he's really their guy. And so if the Raiders want to keep this game close tonight, because I do think they can because the slow start offensively from Denver is probably the case, minimum 15 targets tonight. I would push 20 targets to Brock Bowers, see if we can go over 200 yards. I'm being serious.
I got nervous for a second and thought maybe I didn't actually put him to start. So I'm checking the ESPN Fantasy app. I don't know.
First
Somebody
overall,
was stupid.
that was it.
I wasn't though.
Smart general
I'm not
manager.
doing well.
I'm
but
5-4.
I'm 3-6. But whatever. I have Brock Bowers.
Like you were
5-4, Dan. That's not very good.
5-4, you're not even making the playoffs.
All right, Adam Schefter's back with us. Playoffs. Hey, Adam. Let's get to some top stories, starting with an update on James Cook and the Bills.
Jaguars.
Well, Laura, he's back practicing today, so clearly it seems like it was a maintenance issue yesterday that held him out of practice with his foot and ankle injury, and he is tracking to be able to play Sunday for the Buffalo Bills. He finished last week's game against the Chiefs. That's usually a good sign, and the fact that he was back at practice today makes it an even better sign. Not the same news in Tampa, where the Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin and running back Bucky Irving still are not practicing. This is even coming out of a bye week. Irving's missed the last 4 games due to a shoulder injury. Godwin Jr. has missed the last 6 games, including the last 3 due to his fibula injury. And it looks like both players will be out Sunday against New England in a game in which it looks like the Patriots will not have their running back Ramondre Stevenson or their wide receiver Kayshon Boutte. Neither player practiced today. Stevenson's dealing with a foot injury to his toe. Boutte's got a hamstring injury. And so those 2 players not practicing. It looks like both teams could be shorthanded Sunday in a big battle between Baker Mayfield and Drake May.
This also ties right into zone usage, where the Eagles have struggled and the Packers have flourished. Here's Nick Sirianni on facing Micah Parsons today.
Micah Parsons is a phenomenal football player that can hurt you in many different ways. It just creates a lot of disruption. I think sometimes you think about it just only in the pass game. He creates a lot of disruption in the run game. So much respect to the player. And who he is. I can't say enough good things about him. Thankfully we don't play him. We only play him once a year. We played Green Bay twice last year, so we'll see how that goes.
He's like, wait, maybe we're going to see him again. Dan, what does Mike and company need to do to contain that Eagles offense?
Yeah, so I think you got to try to put the game in Jalen Hurts' hands. I think number one is, making sure that Saquon Barkley does not get going. That's really been the story of this offense over the last 2 weeks. So, first of all, I like when this defense gets active on early downs, active at the line of scrimmage against the run, that they don't just sit back. I think the second thing that stands out is they will knock the line of scrimmage backwards at times. And the third thing is they can get relatively disruptive in the run game. We often talk about them, Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, in just the pass game, but those 2 guys are really disruptive, sometimes winning one-on-one with quickness or shedding that block. If they're capable of doing that, more often than not, I do think that just structure-wise, the way that they play coverage is built to have success against them in the pass game. I would never, 0 snaps of playing single one-on-one versus A.J. Brown. This defense gives up the least amount of explosive plays in the NFL. Green Bay does. That's a recipe to try and slow down that offense.
And as you talk about that knockback, if I'm Philly, we saw this before their bye week playing the Giants. They got into big people, jumbo, put an extra offensive lineman on the field. The Panthers got into some 13 personnel with 3 tight ends on the field, big people, and tried to run at them. If I'm Philly, I'm going to do some of that. They did it against the Giants. And once you do that, this is with 3 tight ends on the field. Now, this play comes back because of a holding penalty on Lane Johnson, but this is where it starts to open up. For Jalen Hurts, now you're going play action. When you say put the ball in his hands, if you can get that run game going and you can put the ball in his hands for pass plays like this, going over the middle off of play action from the run game when you have Saquon Barkley rushing an 80-yard play with 6 offensive linemen out there, it helps open up the offense for everyone. Because to your point, you don't want A.J. Brown in one-on-one coverage. We start to run the ball on you, you'll have no choice but to change your defensive structure,
I'm a company man, and I'm new. So take this for what it's worth.
This is going to be good.
I'm telling you this right now. This is the biggest game the NFC has had all season. And we're having it on ESPN and on Monday Night Football. And usually these games, big NFC matchups, you've got Burkhardt and Brady and the Fox guy. This is Monday night, and to me, last year's season for the Packers was bookended with the Eagles. They started off and they lost in Brazil, and then they went to the playoffs into Philly and they lost there. And in neither game did Jeff Hafley's defense stop that Eagles offense. This is part 3, and you have Micah Parsons. This is a challenge to those Packers, and we're going to talk about the tush push plenty before then and there. Because remember, in the offseason, it was the Packers who brought that to the league and said, let's get rid of this thing after playing them twice. I want to see if this Jeff Hafley defense is up to the challenge. Whatever happened last week against Carolina, that seems to be in the DNA of this Packers team, just head-scratching losses. This one you should not be getting snuck up on. This one should not be a trap game. This one, to me, is your Packers defense. Can you stop that Eagles offense, especially in the trenches? I can't wait.
I like the company, man. He also mentioned Brady and Burkhardt.
Yeah.
It was like a
Come on.
shout-out to
Hey,
my old
listen,
boy.
here's my thing.
boys.
We have all the
Guys.
respect in the world for the other networks, but give me Joe.